Hello, Dream Team. Welcome along to Season 3, Episode 24 of The Good, the Bad and the Rugby. A slightly shorter, sharper show this week because we've got a little bonus ball for you that's going to come out on Sunday as well. So we've had a busy day of it. Lots of the usual knowledge and nonsense that comes with these two alongside. Hask and the Lord are present and relatively correct. James, you're well, I hope.
Do you know what? I'm absolutely excellent, Alex. I had a nice, relaxing, very much family-orientated weekend.
Lovely.
Which was quite nice.
Does that mean you saw Chloe for more than an hour?
I did, yes.
Did you diarise?
Right, can I just tell you something, by the way? Just very, very clear. Because you two, Chloe listens to this podcast.
Lovely to have you with us, Chloe.
Listen to it avidly. There's a number of factors that she brings up. Every time we make a joke about infidelity and you two raise your eyebrows and make it amusing and play up to the game, she's like, well, there's no smoke without fire. I'm like, it's a fucking joke, right? We're playing our characters,
yeah,
right?
We are.
Yeah, look at that. See, everyone laugh.
We're all
Chloe,
joking.
this is not, look, we're drawing the line. This is jokes aside, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, no, but honestly, one, two, yeah. Loose lips, six. What goes until stays until, right?
Yeah.
So she says that, and then she will always repeat, going, even Alex and Mike say how busy you are. You never take time for your family, and you're never
we
around
actually
here.
mean that, by the way.
We're
on Team Chloe.
They think you do too much.
I love your wife.
People are worried about you, and I'm like,
she's so beautiful. I mean, I just don't understand it. I'd want to spend so much time with her if I was around.
So would I. In fact, why don't we get her on this show? Quality time.
Well, he's going to run out of time soon, so
we'll
need to replace him.
But I'll get cancelled.
He's on 3 tours at the same time.
This is very true.
Yeah.
Juggling. I am
Is it sex, tries, and video? But they're 3 different tours, aren't they?
No.
You got one just chatting about.
Actually, Alex, funny you should say that. I am actually on tour. Sex, tries, and videotapes. By the time this comes out, I will be on my first date in Nottingham. And there are some tickets still available. Some venues are sold out. Head over to jameshaskell.com if you want to be entertained. Behind the curtain, rugby, chat, tours, World Cups, Eddie Jones, all under one roof. Please help me. I need the cash.
Badinage and frivolity.
Badinage, frivolity. And you know what? Absolutely. When I say no holds barred, it will 100%. We're going to burn bright. We're going to burn fast, and we may or may not get cancelled. But that's the plan. But anyway,
so public cancellation.
Perfect. Thank you. jameshaskell.com.
Is it one where you need to put a warning out? Because obviously we've had our issues in the past with the fact that people turn up to our tour with toddlers.
The bad and rugby.
Do you need to say, look, people of that persuasion who get easily offended, please don't come?
Yes, I would say, if you get easily offended, please come, because these should have some sort of reaction to it. I would say for 18 and over, this is not a PG thing. Like, do not turn up with your 12-year-old wearing a red scrum cap who turn up to James Haskell for World Book Day, because they're going to be shocked. They're going to learn words they never knew. They're going to hear stories. They'll be like, Mummy, I want to be a professional sports player if there's all those prostitutes around. There are no prostitutes.
Chloe.
Chloe again. Yeah, so anyway.
So when you say it's all us,
I know, I keep doing it.
You actually just you shoot both of your feet off every single week on this show, and then have the audacity to blame us.
I know. But no, but it's because you play up to it, because you both don't look shocked.
No, we just laugh.
Yeah, you just
That's what you want us to do.
So anyway, so Saturday was a nice family day. We went out for lunch. Had a nice relaxing day, and then Sunday I met up with Simon Dunmore of former Defected, and took Chloe out and Bodie out for lunch as well. It's very nice. Simon treated us to lunch, actually. It's very nice.
You fought with a trampoline, which we've got into on this week's lock-in.
Yeah, fought with the trampoline on Friday. But basically, people who make trampolines, you're bad people. Just send someone who builds it for us, please. But yeah, that was 4 hours. I'll never get back. Saturday, I did want to play rugby for Minch on Saturday, but unfortunately, Mia had a pony club thing, so she took precedent.
So middle class, I love it.
She rides ponies.
No, I know that, but it's just one of those things like in between him and what he gets up to.
Well,
I used to do pony club. Rise and trot, Jim Carner. Yeah, well, that's.
I did. I used to do a lot. I so many jokes, but I did actually ride back in the day. Yeah. No, I did.
Welcome along, Chloe. Lovely to have you with us.
I just when it came to jumping, I just sort of shit myself really and just wasn't that keen to carry on with it. I could trot and canter, gallop.
Yep.
And then
did you win a rosette?
Did she win? No, she was actually pretty grumpy this week. She had a couple of rails down, and she didn't feel like she got a new horse called Pip, and didn't feel like she really has him under control as she wants. But she's like, she wants ABS, so she like goes brake, and he goes not quite way. You have to sort of tell them. So she's working around her way.
Has she got her mother's potential?
I think at 9 it's a bit early to call that.
Well,
but
say that. Does she have?
She's no fear, and she's very driven to not lose.
So that was.
That sounds exactly
yes.
So she's got the building blocks.
Right.
The starting building blocks. But who knows? Lena had gymnastics, and then on Sunday again we had a lovely lunch. Oh, we did a dinner for Ed Slater on Saturday
Good on
evening,
you.
which was great to catch up with loads of people. And then Sunday was, actually the kids got up really early on Sunday, so we were supposed to take them to rugby, but we didn't. We got in late, and then
Early start.
5:30 with the wee man.
I had a Sunday of sporting activity not dissimilar to yours. Daughter, who's got a sore foot at the moment, playing quite a lot of netball, so she went off and did that.
She's very good at netball.
She's very good at netball.
Like national.
well, sort of academy stuff. Yeah, she loves
didn't
it.
you-
You
They
need
get
to
to
be
a
careful though, because this is on a genuine serious point. Is I was talking to who's got a stress fracture. Their kid's got a stress fracture just playing too much sport. You need to.
Yes,
You just need
when
to be aware of
she
that.
did her wrist on Sunday as well, falling over. But I was going to very quickly say, because we talk a lot about some of the problems in rugby at the moment, particularly at the top, but we had the Richmond Minis Rugby Festival on Sunday morning, and there were probably 400 kids playing and another 600 parents on the touchline. It was 4 degrees, and it was just heartwarming. It was really, really good. It was brilliantly organised by Michelle and Mel and all of the team. And Harry absolutely loved it. And actually, I was going to give a really good shout out because in the last game, Richmond played Camberley, and there was a boy called Charlie who was playing for Camberley. And I went up afterwards and said, "Unbelievable! I've never seen a kid throw himself around in the way he's brilliant at tackling." And he had his head completely bandaged up. He looked like Terry Butcher. He'd ripped his ear in the first game of the day. They taped his head back up, age 10, and he was just throwing himself around like an absolute sort of whirling dervish. And I just thought, in an era where health and safety ruin everything,
Yes.
and everybody has so much to say about what kids can and can't do, he was out there running around, causing havoc with his head taped on. And I just thought, that's what we all did. It's why we love the game. Good on you, Charlie from Camberley.
Well, first of all, you used to do that, did you?
I used to take the score.
Yeah.
And bring on the oranges.
Yeah, and a little
Sounds like
teapot.
something out of something Dumb and Dumber. His head was taped on.
But it was just brilliant.
Pets' heads are falling
Yeah, but
off.
did you say that though? You saying that because after last week when
Yeah.
Mike left halfway through and we started talking about reducing the numbers
Yes.
in the game,
On our
maybe
show,
rugby
or in
league
the-
on our
in the
show,
game. Oh, sorry, yeah.
right? Yeah. Well,
Table for
Mike
two.
left. We're like, this actually works better with just two.
Yeah.
He's more of a handbrake than an accelerate. And no, when we did that, we talked about obviously reducing numbers, and I saw some of the comments on social media. They were like, someone said Alex just wants to see the rugby world burn, and it said it goes to show that these two know fuck all about anything. They're just talking shit. Bring back Tinds, right? Because obviously we talk about reduced game. I just wondered, now you're being super positive at the beginning of the show, whether you feel like that's filtered through.
I hadn't seen the negative comments. Please do send them my way because I don't ever log on to any of that. But there is
So you're
always
saying
balance in
less
all
is
these
more,
things.
we?
No, we just said less numbers because there's more space to be a bit more creative.
We were
like
talking about the
Tinds,
fact that
yeah.
Scotland-France
Yeah.
was, I think, a really good game because both sides had a man off after 8 minutes. So suddenly you got 14
But
aside.
Yeah,
Everyone
you
said
get more
it-
space.
Someone said Tyndall would disagree, and he said, "Why don't you just like rugby league then? If you want to do it, why don't you just fuck off and watch that?" Alex just wants to see
Okay.
everyone burn. Haskell knows nothing. Bring back Tinds when
Yeah.
it came to rugby, and then they also said
No,
something along.
the only reason for mentioning Richmond yesterday is that we talk a lot about the problems at the top of the game, and I just thought it was so good to see the grassroots doing exactly
But
what it
Harry's
should be.
also your boy. I know you're not sort of a that Harry Enfield dad. Only me. You're very. I can. What's it called? Competitive dad.
Competitive dad.
You're kind of Harry's unbelievable.
No,
He
he's
keeps-
not unbelievable. But
Mate,
he's,
I've seen him
he's-
score 5 tries in one game, like fending people.
But he's really enjoying it, and that is credit to a brilliant set of coaches and an awesome set of boys.
Dark side.
The Alex.
He has got a real
Payno
dark
anger,
side.
has
All
he?
he comes out in Japan.
But he, but it's they're getting to the point now, age 10, where you can see what they're doing, and
Alex is like Mogwai from the Gremlins. If you feed him after
Feed him
11 and
after
spill water on him, he'll
if you
tell
give
him
it,
something.
if you give him sake after
Yeah.
11,
Give him a
Yeah.
sake with a lager and rip your fucking face off.
only the very finest sake, which is open
Oh,
with
yeah.
a sword and
with
a
a
gong,
sword
and
and
Japanese
a
procession.
ceremonial, a ceremony of some description.
Bodie nearly crawled. That's all I've got. That's all I've got.
She is looking
very good.
very pooch though.
Yeah, she's good. She's so funny. She now smiles whenever I come back into the room, and not even Chloe gives me that much
Love,
attention.
Yeah.
That's because she doesn't know you that well.
That's true. She's true. But she's just judging me on, just me, just
Yeah.
being big smiley.
We're all judging you on you, but
Yeah.
It is quite
varying
nice when they
degrees.
start smiling.
Yeah, it makes it very
It's the
rewarding.
first heart melt.
You're going on tour. When does it starts this week?
Starts
does it?
8th of March. Yeah.
Are you ready to go?
Yeah, so over 6 weeks, finished on the 27th of April. I am ready to go. I've finished writing it.
Good.
Very excited by it. Hopefully people will be entertained. I think it's going to be quite funny.
Good.
But I could be wrong, but as long as you buy a ticket, we win.
If you have a good time, that's what really matters.
That's what I mean, yeah.
I've got to do the thing for you before we go as well. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
We're going on tour in November, and hopefully you've seen some of the bits and bobs that are out and about. We've had some very fast start to the ticket sales, but if you'd like to come,
You've got to like the
it's
poster.
Good. It's good.
The tour
isn't it?
poster is
Your
very
acting,
good.
again, Chloe, we talked a lot about her. She's giving you too much attention. Can you lock her back in the chokey when we get home? That's a reference from Matilda, by the way, if you're not sure what hell I'm talking about. Not choke her out, that's a completely different show. What I was going to say was that your acting on that poster, for those of you who haven't seen the tour poster for Good Bad Rugby, is extraordinarily good.
Thank you.
In between a fuckload of moaning.
Oh, God.
Oh, my back! Ah!
Yeah.
All right. Now go.
I suffer for my art. What,
Suffer for your art.
Yes.
It's up for your ass.
Yeah, so it's like boarding school again.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, come and join us on tour. That's in November. All sorts of bits and bobs going between now and then. Obviously, it was a fallow weekend in the Six Nations last week. It is back with a bang this weekend. Italy and Wales. Actually, you know, we were talking before we started recording. This weekend is going to be fascinating. We could have a set of results that tease us up for one hell of a final weekend. We'll come on to that. Italy-Wales gets things going. Scotland host Ireland on Sunday. Le Crunch, England against a France side that is a big game for France, actually, is Saturday evening. We're all going. You're there, aren't you? Yes. Are we... Give us a little sense of... We're recording this on a Monday. I think on Thursday there's going to be a very interesting England team announced. You're nodding.
Oh, well,
because...
I agree with you.
Why? What do you expect?
Well, because the way I've read this... Oh, no, I could be overthinking it. But the way I've read England's campaign so far is first game, England created stuff, but they were just off the pace a bit defensively, but they needed to win that game. They didn't get that win. And then I felt the last two games have all been just about winning.
Yep.
Because I generally feel they know they're going into these last two games as complete underdogs. They've got nothing to lose. So I think you could see some interesting selections about where England are going forward and going, right, fuck it, we're underdogs, let's just go smash.
And what are those selections?
Well, it would involve something at 10.
Yep. Do you think
Marcus
Smith
played
might...
very well? Obviously everyone's going, I can't believe he's dropped him, but I think it is important to give him proper game time, and he showed again in the big game at Twickenham. People want to see him play, and he set up 3 tries and did the job for Quins, who looked very good. Now,
and from a mentality point of view as well, even though it wasn't being dropped, he was getting game time. It doesn't stop the written media narrative that he is being dropped to hype it up. What a way to stick 2 fingers up if you were
if you were picked. So I think something around there would be the biggest shift.
So are we thinking Smith might start at 10 and Farrell on the bench, or Farrell across to 12?
No, well, I would hope if you're going to start, I think we've sort of everyone's come to the same agreement that it's got to be one or the other. So, and I think Ollie Lawrence has played well through the tournament so far, so it'd be harsh for him to go, because normally if you play Farrell, they would normally play Slade. But I think it'd be interesting if they could find someone else to play 12. Where's Dan Kelly at the moment in his rehab? I don't know.
Fit again, is he?
But yeah, so I think they might stick with Slade and Lawrence, and then I think they might give Marcus a little rumble.
Watch this space.
And then Courtney captain.
At the expense of?
Owen.
No,
in second row.
Second row.
Or would you play him at 6?
I play him at 6, I think.
Really?
I think.
Hold on, Lewis Ludlam.
Well, actually, no. Well, maybe I put Marrow and Courtney.
Hold on, Ollie Chessum.
Get rid of Chessum. All right. Listen, I haven't really thought about it. It's spur of the moment thing. Don't question
this right here is why he's not in.
I wondered if they might go Courtney and Ollie Chessum.
Well, I think they. I mean, truthfully, I think he's played better than Marrow recently. I think Marrow obviously will know what he can do, and he's a great player.
On the special pod this week, we talked about people.
Everybody
having the ability
gets
to drop someone.
Yeah,
and Marrow's one of those that's never has been. Is at a time where, and what did Willems,
Paul Willemser,
he said Itoji's not a second row.
When did he say that?
He said that in the paper after the game on the France game.
Ooh, well,
so there you go.
Fine.
Let's put 2 and 2 together and get 27.
Okay, well, no offence, then I say so. Chesham and Courtney, Lewis, Willis, Alex Dombrandt, and then
Marcus at 10.
Marcus at 10.
And otherwise, you keep it as it is.
On Ollie Lawrence, yeah. I just don't think you can do both.
It's going to be interesting what they do. Is Anthony going to keep his spot, or are they going to bring
I was very shocked.
I think Max
Malins
Malin's got. I do quite like Max Malins. I think he holds.
I thought he's played really well, Max.
Yeah,
Malins.
he's got some good. He glues everything together, and he backs himself all the time.
He's
which
got some
I don't
X
feel
factor,
that
hasn't
somewhere. Yeah.
Do you know what? This is a really odd thing to say.
It does fall into the Alex Good sort of mould of where he doesn't look like he should be playing international rugby, but he's clearly very good.
He's sort of I know this is a really weird thing to say, but as a rugby player, he reminds me of a cricketer. Do you know what I mean? He's sort of very tidy. He's got
Elliot Daly vibes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know that some players they
yeah.
sort of they just look different to what everyone else is doing out there? More time, more skills.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said that, but you know.
But Jamie George actually is an unbelievable cricketer, and he looks like a truffle. So it's a very
Is he
difficult.
really?
Yeah, he's very, very good. Unbelievable, and that's why he's so skillful because he's incredible.
What?
He's an amazing ball sport. His hand-eye coordination is amazing, but he's the same ilk as Elliot Daly and Max Malins. He just unfortunately
all I
looks like a
see,
little face.
all I see on social media is him hitting the crossbar.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
Yeah.
it doesn't really
Three
matter.
in a row.
Did you see that chip that he put through for Saracens? I mean, Jamie George is just so skillful. It is
Baller.
ridiculous.
Talking about skillful hookers, you know a few.
Welcome,
Chloe, you're
Chloe.
welcome. Chloe, you're welcome.
Can we get like a little bell that we ring every time?
like
Chloe
that
needs to
fighting
cross?
talk or
Yeah. I'd actually love to do this with
That
sound
was a good
effects.
line from Jamie George, actually, where the guy stitched him up about the Japanese hookers.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Have you been working on your knowledge of Japanese hookers when he was going to the?
Oh, really?
When he was going to, it was quite funny.
Oh,
Google it.
You've always got to buy your own sound effects box. It's not that hard to get one.
All right. Well, maybe we'll get GBNR to invest in some.
Yeah.
I
Do you remember? Did you ever have those
We're,
things
we're
at
very
school?
tight on cash.
Do you ever have that thing at school which was like a box and it had like 5 buttons and it had a machine gun and a laser
Yes,
and
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
grenade? Yeah, I'd like one of those. Actually, what I'd love to do, if I could really reinvent the show, would be to rig both of you up to like a taser, and if you were irritating me, I'd just press a button and tase you.
Quite
Yeah.
funny for that show.
Problem is, I'll have an erection and I'll be crying. be like my PE lessons. Joking.
What was it?
I'd tase you for that.
Really interrupted.
I'd just leave it on for 90 minutes and
Yeah.
Tinds and I would chat.
Get a
I
new
know what I
pair
was
of
gonna
pants.
say. Talking about skillful hookers, that's what it was.
To be
How
fair,
good's Harry Thacker? Did you watch that game on Friday night?
Bits of it.
he's
Fuck me,
also
he's
always
a good
been very
player.
good, isn't he?
But then, so what is his next step in terms of getting a little bit of action? Because
Give
it's
him a couple
just
of numbers.
nothing, is
I
it?
didn't say anything.
Yes, but it's just
And it's
you
exhausting.
just
It's
can't let
exhausting.
anything go.
Do you think he's got what it
Yes,
takes to make the
that's
next
why
step?
You're in this predicament. No, I'm doing it. But it's. I don't know enough about the nuts and bolts, the scrums and lineouts, in
Right.
terms of whether his numbers are where they need to be. But when he gets in open space,
Off the
that
bench.
unlucky offload where he made that break and then sidestepped the fullback and then did it out the naughty out the back, and it got pulled forward.
But he's always been very good when he was at Leicester, wasn't he? Before he moved.
Yeah.
I just don't know whether he's either really seen he's big enough or physical enough. There'll be some excuse, when for something. There's always one of those where he's not big enough, not strong, whatever.
But the Bristol were just outstanding on the weekend.
Can we just go back to England? So
Yes.
this could all be very redundant.
Oh, it's
very
bound to be
quickly.
redundant.
But
I mean, I'm pretty certain this is going to
I
be
would,
completely different.
I would agree with you that I think I would agree. I think England started off saying, right, let's see what we can do. Lost to Scotland, and then it's like, geez, we've got to
We
beat
need to
Italy.
get wins in the bank.
We've got it, and then they found the win against Wales, and now, as you say, there's an opportunity here for them. Can you?
Saying that, France haven't won at Twickenham for how long?
18 years,
18 years.
2007 in a World Cup warm-up, which I think you played in.
I did actually.
Yeah.
That was when
Do
Shabal
we
ran
even
over
count
Nick
that
Bendon
game?
on
Yeah,
and
he
ended
did.
his England career.
Do we even count that as a warm-up game?
Wow.
What was it before that? Any clues?
2005, Yashvili bought a kicking tee in the club shop, kicked 24 points. Nose. Can England, at this point, and what is the benefit of changing half the team, hypothetically, and totally changing the game plan?
No, you can't change half the team.
Well, we're talking about
You're talking about 3 players, aren't you?
Right, that's not half
Which
the team.
is what you call integration, I think. Parts that Steve has put in is fast ruck ball.
Yep.
I'd like to see more quick taps from JVP. That's Van Poorvliet for people who don't like abbreviations. I'd like to see more quick tap, keep that lift of that tempo, but then I'd quite like to see my 10 playing on the right in their faces. And
How
giving
easy-
Marcus a free range to do it. Or George Ford.
How easy is that for England to do, to change the approach, I suppose, at this point of the tournament? Question mark.
Well, I would say, how I would say is if you go out and play that way, it's easier to bring it in.
Okay.
It's easier to narrow it down, put Faz on, change it back to what it was. It's impossible to go out. So you can't do it the other way around.
Right.
It's very hard to do it the other way around.
I
To change fundamentally how, I mean, you can put X factor players on there which Marcus could do in the same format, but to actually, if you're gonna, Steve said to us on that Friday before the Wales game, we need to play with more width, but it's getting the guys to believe in the confidence to give it that width. Now it's easier to start out there and go, right, this is how we're going to play. We're going to play with loads of space, allow Freddie Stewart to get into the game, allow whoever's on the wings to get into the game, allow Ollie Lawrence to get into the game, and play that little bit of width and get your forwards in that way. It's very hard then to go. It's very hard to start very attritional and up the middle or playing very narrow
And then fling it.
then fling it.
Which is
It's
what we
easier
did against
to
the All
bring it
Blacks,
back.
actually.
It's easier to bring it back.
Bring it back. What are you making of it?
Do you know what? I'm always fascinated by these periods in time because there's always more at stake than just changing the team, and obviously taking into account that most of those guys I would regard as friends. It's always difficult when you say someone else should be put ahead. You know, this is purely from like a neutral perspective. Like I just want to see something happen. I think the problem with changing Owen for Marcus is there's more at stake. It is the media, because the narrative becomes bigger than the game. You know, and that's an issue. And I love Chris Robshaw. I was with him the other day on cigar and whiskey evening for his charity. Absolutely delightful. That's the kind of charity I can get on board with.
Yeah.
And if you're planning, if you sit through a dinner with Norse, absolutely not. Drink for free and smoke cigars, occasionally talking to people. I can get on 100% to do that. I'm also available for tasting menus and
bar mitzvahs.
Bar mitzvahs, yeah. The problem is when Robbo was captain, there was a period of time, and he was obviously a fantastic servant of the game, where he wasn't playing particularly well, and he was never dropped. He was never dropped by Stuart Lang. He started something like a record number of games, and sometimes one of the feedback came back, listen, we can't change him, because if we do, it becomes, you know, the story. You drop the captain, you drop this, it becomes a thing. So, you know, you then have to wait for these like America versus Canada games where someone's not available on a different tour to try people out. That's the only time Marcus Smith, I think, off the top of my head, has started on his own for England, isn't he? He's always been coupled with Owen.
No, he did. He had November 2021. He had it because
Yeah.
Owen was injured or got injured against Australia, I think.
Fine, but that was
Marcus
obviously his
took it
early.
against
That was probably
Watts.
pretty early days, wasn't it?
But even if you think back to when Eddie could have taken free and dropped all the Sarries players, and he could have just put all those guys in, and he'd had a free license to do it, and he chose not to do it, and then it backfires because we didn't play very well.
And that's the thing, is I wonder with Steve, just in that position. I have yet to see a coach, you know, go and do that and just go, do you know what, we're gonna try this, because if you then drop Owen, all the people that will want to knife him in the back will come out of the woodwork and say that's it, it's done, and it just becomes bigger than the game. I hope that, you know, whatever was done for the right reasons, and you were moved past that. You know, if you drop Marrow, same thing. I just think sometimes it becomes more of a sideshow.
But I also think, you know, and obviously, look, we say this on the show all the time. People don't become bad players overnight. You can have dips in your form, but you're still world-class players, and no one should ever say anything bad about Owen Farrell and what he's done for the game. But I said after the Wales game, it feels like he's got all the weight on his shoulders, and maybe Marrow hit the two guys who've led for so long. But maybe, you know, it might be quite nice to go, actually, you know, I mean, he won't like it. Of course he won't. He's the most competitive man on the planet. But secretly inside, I remember getting dropped in 2006 by Andy Robinson, and because just all the heat was on the centres. Me, Jamie Noon, Tatey was in that mix. Was Danny Hipkins probably was still in that mix as well. And when he said, "Look, you're not playing," I was like, "Thank fuck," because then let's see if it solves the problem. And then, funnily enough, it still didn't go that well. And then those two took all the blame. And I was like, "Well, it's quite nice to have it off for a week."
Yeah.
And then you go back in a little bit rejuvenated. But you know, sometimes it can be a bit of a head clearer. Because I do think that I think he's just thinking about everything, or where he's just trying to steer us around the park rather than just going, right, what do I see?
Yeah.
And it's the beauty of youth, and someone like Marcus, hopefully he just sees the picture and plays the picture.
I just wonder though, and I suppose if you look back to Eddie Jones' regime, there was never really an opportunity where he said, right, we're going to do something totally different.
And also when he did, sorry to interrupt you.
Well, when did he?
No, when he did have the opportunity, remember he dropped the second tier ones and then picked the third tier ones and threw it all on his head. I don't know if it was in the autumn or there was one thing where everyone was like, oh right, Dan Robertson's now going to get Robertson's now going to get a game, so and so is now going to get a game. He then didn't put any of those and picked a whole load of other people that no one had ever heard of before. So
but I just I think this is a very interesting selection, and again, we're sort of hypothesizing, but
It's not
we'll
gonna be
probably
any
get it completely wrong. You'll
but,
pick
but,
exactly
but
the same team.
quite possibly. But even if we get the selection wrong, I think the opportunity is worth discussing because England are unlikely to go to Dublin and win. They may well, but they're unlikely to.
But he could still pick the same team and go, right, we are fundamentally playing in a different way. Faz,
Yes.
you need to play up there. And then I want you to set the scene, and then Marcus can come on. I mean, there's no reason why he couldn't do that. I think you will see whoever he names, whether he takes the opportunity to play some different people, he's got to shift the mindset of how they're playing. Look, no one's giving us a cat in hell's chance. Let's go. Let's go. Just go for it.
Is it worth picking?
After watching all the stuff we've watched today with the special pod on the Sunday, take your points, build a score. It just creates all sorts of pressure.
But you'd therefore go with Owen on that.
Well, no, because Marcus can still kick, can't he?
Yeah.
You don't ever see any tens to drop goals anymore, so you don't worry about
It is well worth watching this show that we've done on Sunday. Actually, it's 20 years.
So those who don't like me, I'm not in it as well. So that's probably a winning bonus.
It's a review of the 2003 England Grand Slam, which is a story, as we said at the start of it, is often not told. But you forget so much of the sort of underlying stories. You just think settled team, Grand Slam, Summer Tour, World Cup.
Yeah, and if you can name the team that started the first game against France and the bench without looking it up, you're getting a prize.
Yeah. And what is extraordinary?
Well, trampolines to install.
You don't get a prize, by the way.
You get a hoodie.
You get a trampoline.
You get a trampoline and an Allen key.
You get, when Hask has his hair operation, you get one strand.
You get an afternoon with me and a prostitute.
Welcome along, Craig. The point that fell out of that though is you think that 2003 England team was very settled, and actually, on reflection, it was all change almost up until the Scotland game and then the final Ireland game, and that's when it really bedded in, and then the Summer Tour, etc. What I'm wondering around this France fixture is whether Steve thinks we're going to a World Cup. I know what Owen can do.
Yeah,
I know that he is still the man, but I want to see if we want to play at 100 miles an hour from the start. Owen will give me the game I want, and I know what he's going to do. Is it worth using this game against France to say, right, let's play chaos rugby?
Yeah, I think we're quite. I mean, again,
did you ever have that in your career where the whole game?
We are talking about something that's fun, and then you have to remember it is Steve Borthwick.
Yeah, all right.
I think
lovely.
It's a hard.
But he might say, Nick Evans, you run this week.
Yeah.
Do you know what? No, the honest answer is I don't remember. I'm trying to think. I don't.
How
remember.
much would you have loved the opportunity for a coach to walk in and say, you sort it out this week, blank piece of paper, you guys pick the team. We are going to. You can do anything you want.
I just think people feel that the downside of going horrifically wrong is just not worth the payoff. I'm pretty certain, and again, I'm more excited, and since I've retired, I'm much more excited about like the narrative and what could happen and what would happen than individual players' performances. I'd love to see a completely different team or a couple of tweaks to play a different game. I think sometimes if your back's against the wall or things are going well, you just go out there to play and to have fun. That'll probably be a message. I just think England are too competitive, too serious. I don't think there's going to be many changes to the team. I think it'll be the same things we've seen before. Maybe they might play Marcus Smith 10 and 12, Owen and Marcus 10 and 12 like we've seen before, and that's it. I don't see we have the ability to do that.
The Bazball analogy in cricket, which is just go out there and have fun, we're not ready for that yet as England team.
Well, I think, I don't know. That's what the Premiership is week in, week out. Now, I get international rugby is very much different than that. You have to have you do need to have your structures around there to set up and how, but fundamentally, if they play that every week, you've got to try and get as close to being able to do that as you can on the international scene.
Where are this French team coming into this one?
In France? Oh, sorry.
Ding-ling-ling-ling-ling.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Look, I don't think it's got. I would say from where they've been for the last sort of 2 seasons, they're not quite where they want to be. It was interesting that Ireland game was quite interesting. That it just looked like they wanted chaos, and it was really unstructured. They didn't do things that they've been doing very well. They also didn't quite get their physicality right, and I think that's a massive thing for this. If they're not on it, if Sean Edwards' side isn't fully functioning in terms of the carnage they bring in terms of physicality, I think they struggle, and that seems to be their grounding factor. I mean, Dupont is great, whatever, but I think it's set by their forwards. If their forwards turn up for business, and there's types of Jelonchi that he's out now, whether he makes the World Cup, I hope he does because he's a great player.
Yeah.
So I would say they wouldn't be happy right now. They definitely haven't got their mojo flying at the moment. But we'll see what they come with on the weekend.
What defines a game against France? What do you think in the week of a France Test match, Six Nations?
I think the first thing with England,
it's very different home and away.
Yeah,
for sure.
100%. I think they're obviously still a big side. France, very physical. That's going to be the mentality defensive wise. Kevin Sinfield, I think where we started in Scotland, where there's those two glaring kind of defensive errors, and we weren't as physical as we could be. I thought you looked at the impact tackles against Wales, 12-1 at one point. I think that's where you've got to start. You've got to stop the momentum. As soon as you allow them, France get over the game, their offloading game comes into it, and suddenly it's a very difficult afternoon because you're chasing shadows all over the place. I think that's a good place to start, and I think the directness of how you get over the game line and putting pressure on them would be where I think it's going to be defined. And I think this week you'll be picking out target players. I remember when we played France before, we would pick 2 or 3 talisman players. So Dupont is a talisman straight away. In training, how many times can you get to him? How many times can you slow him down? How many times do you want to put him at the bottom of a ruck so he can't get up and play and start making decisions? And how he feels heat on him all day. You're going to see, I would imagine, you're going to see Marrow talking at him all afternoon.
9-10 access, I would say you have to go after.
And I don't know who's 12. Is Dante, is he out at the moment?
So Fiku and Mafana.
Yeah. So Fiku again would be a talisman player, and one of the forwards you'd pick. I go, right, what's the spine of the team? Where do they get their energy from? When Visa, for example, Willemse carries over the gain line, their tails go up. How quickly can we stop them? How can we pick those players out and target them? And that's what the talk will be all week, I imagine, to really kind of put pressure on them.
I'm completely bouncing around here, but I want to go back to that question I asked you about going out with a mindset that is totally irregular and totally unusual for what you normally do. That game in 2015, which actually you were talking about last week when you got yellow carded, England had to win by 27 points to win the Grand Slam. It was the final game of the entire tournament. Ireland had run right in Rome, and you went out and it was 55-35, the final score.
Yeah. Great game.
Unbelievable game. And everyone said off the back of that, why is this not what teams do every week? But to just take me back to that, because that's what I know that's too excessive for what we're talking about this England side for this weekend, but it was a notable mindset shift. We saw skills that day that were unbelievable. Why do teams not play that way?
Well, because I think the jeopardy element in terms of, it's very difficult to say that we're going to focus on the performance as opposed to the result. We're going to put the result to the back of our mind, because the fact is we'd already Ireland had run riot.
You were one catch and drive away from winning the tournament.
But what I mean is that it was, you had to risk it all, and I think you have to.
But why can England not employ that this weekend?
They definitely. I agree with you.
They can. I just don't think it's
because they're going in. They will still. The England team will still go in thinking they can win whatever way they want to play.
Yeah.
But you don't often get an opportunity where you're going in as an underdog. Now, the only downside to this is I think whatever happens in Ireland, they'll go in with that mentality because they're away from home. Whereas at home, you still want to get wins at Twickenham. So that is the only thing that could come into this game. They will still go in as underdogs. My worry in some ways is now teams become a slave to structure. So they all play with the same sort of pod system with people at the back. And if you set that up all the time, you can become a slave to it. It can't allow you to get out there. So my thing is, when you get quick ball, structure goes out the window. Speed of ball, anything under 2-3 second ruck, fuck structure. Because even if you went one out runners all the time, you're going to make yards because the defenses are just not set up. So that's where most of the work has to come. Is then suddenly you just play up front and you play what you see. You've got to bin off the structure. And at the moment, I just think England are focusing a lot on structure, and that will be the hardest side to go, right, if we get quick ball, doesn't matter if we have one out runners, just make sure someone's there to clean, and you'll keep getting quick ball, and we can keep playing, and they'll run out of numbers.
Okay. I'm trying to ask a question. What it feels like is it's quite a stupid question.
No, it's
but
not. No, it's not a stupid question.
I
just think
it's the coach giving confidence to the players.
it's the coach, and also going to players going. You've got to
back yourselves.
You've got to force it and just go. We're going to do it. I know what you're saying. Why can't you play like that the whole time? I think because
it's not the whole time. It's why do we not see teams do it more often? I think
because I think that day was you were playing against France, who were at Twickenham
at the time
weren't great, were loose.
I think Ben played in it.
Pardon? Yeah, Ben Case,
were
quite loose. I think it was a perfect storm of allowing us to go, right, we're chasing a result. We've got to score. We've got to run everything. Guys were energetic. Weather was good. It was just a chance to go out there and absolutely play. And I think actually this is probably a game very similar to that. Does anyone think England are going to win against France? Probably not. Definitely not going to win against Ireland, or so people think. Now's the time to just empower the team and go, listen, guys, I'm much more interested in performance over result. Go and play. And Mike said, it's not just going out and playing. It's, what are the focuses to make that happen? Quick ball, stay on top of them, always in motion, and just look and keep the
ball on the field.
Yeah, and that's it.
Sliding scale between winning 6-3 in a dirge fest and losing 50-47 in a thriller. Where would you put your marker between those two for a result for England?
I would where they are right now. I think if you play a 53-47, you're getting a performance.
Yeah.
There's obviously going to be some things defensively that you're going to look back on and go, why don't we sort that out better? But you've got a good performance out attacking wise. Whereas if you're going into a 9-6, you've both really attacked poorly.
But an England team that's been on its knees is beginning to beat some big dogs.
But we need performances where people come out and can take positives out of the performance.
Right.
And I think I would go performance first.
Right.
But it's international. It's all about winning.
That's what they say, isn't it? But
I'm genuinely interested. I think this is a genuinely
game. But also, Borthas has also come out and said, I'm not interested in the World Cup. I'm not looking forward. It's all about winning the next game.
Yes.
Well,
they've still got to believe that if they win the next two games, they win the tournament.
Yeah. Which, that's why you just don't risk
we're
it.
dancing around.
It's easy for us. That's the thing is pundits. It's so easy because the luxury of we're safe, we're warm, we're in the sofas, we're absolutely no skin in the game.
If going back to a player, fundamentally, we'd both take 9-6.
Right.
And a win.
Okay.
But as a fan, I don't want.
And now I don't want that. I want the 55-47 loss. Don't care.
Let's just simplify. What does a win do for this England side? You've said already, this game in Ireland feels like the pressure is on the opponents. It's an England team that has been through the mill. Eddie Jones leaving, Steve Borthwick coming in, losing to Scotland, getting better and getting better. A win on Saturday against France does what? I suppose relative to the World Cup.
In terms of looking forward, it's you're taking the number two team in the world and you've beaten them. So it gives you the confidence going forward into further down the line in what's to come later this year. It gives that confidence to a very youngish playing group. There's some experienced guys in there, but it gives you that confidence to the newer guys, and it takes you to Ireland with a renewed confidence. You can go and win there, and then you're in the title chase. So my interesting thing: what is the best thing to happen in all three games this weekend to make next weekend a Super Saturday?
And the answer is.
Well, England to win,
which
which unfortunately screws France, but Scotland to beat Ireland, and Italy to beat Wales.
But I'll tell you what would happen if they did win. The emotional maturity of the side would go up, and depending on who played in those games, you'd suddenly start believing that what was going on was right. Because the reason, for example, Eddie's regime ended up progressing when having that unbeaten record because we started with wins. Wins breed winning, breeds winning. Comfort, you're on the right path, doesn't breed the uncertainty. England started with a loss. There's still a bit of uncertainty about what's going on. It's not the uncertainty in what Borthas is doing and the coaching team are doing is right, but it's just cementing it. Beat France, that cements it. Beat Ireland, suddenly the whole thing flips on its head. And that's how simple.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves just yet.
That's what I'm saying, but that's how simple and fickle sport is. And also those who write and talk about it.
If we win on Saturday, then we go to Ireland and win. The conversation about Owen, if he plays 10 in them both, ends as well. And that's the fickle nature of the sport. You want wins, And then if you're not getting wins, you look more at performances, whereas you want wins with performances is your ideal scenario.
Yeah.
But you've got to start somewhere, and wins breed more confidence.
You can imagine as well, I just got images of Sean Edwards just sitting in the stand like, fucking come on. When France beat England this weekend. Do you know what I mean? I can see it already, the mastermind working, fired up. Blackage, Fox out, lads.
It is going to be an absolute belter. And I keep saying it, I think it is a genuinely fascinating game for England. I think they are underdogs, but I think they're one with sharp teeth. And
I like how you thought the team was going to change it. It was quite a nice waste of 45 minutes of
Well,
hyperbole over something that's never going to happen. But I like where your head's at, guys.
Let's see what happens on Thursday. Italy. They couldn't, could they?
I think they could, 100% could.
Could they repeat the home and away double?
They're my favourite team of the Six Nations, Italy.
Yeah.
I just like watching them
They've
play.
been the joy.
They have been a joy.
Because?
Oh, just because they play, they go out there, want to have fun. They create magical moments. I just think from where they were, to where they are now is light years ahead. I think they look like a good, solid team. They've got players all over the place. I think, unfortunately, sometimes they just run out of steam. We just don't quite have that final ability to execute. But they do create. They're prepared to play. They've got some real creativity in their moves.
In what the conversation you were just having, they're playing that England game that you want,
but not winning.
Not winning.
Pop quiz. Winner gets a Mars bar. When was Italy's last home win in the Six Nations?
I think it was against Wales last time.
I think it was against France in 20. When was it? It was about 2010, 2011, something like that.
You've gone Wales when?
I just remember a disaster where they won, but it would have been. Don't pick a year where they won the Grand Slam. Don't pick a year. Is it Wales?
16th of March, 2013.
I was going to say 13.
Italy 22, Ireland 15. They haven't won at home for a decade.
A decade.
Can you imagine what Rome will feel like if they do get it done?
Everybody's been beaten by Ireland but England, yet everyone still gives a shit. It's like
by Italy.
By Italy, sorry.
Yeah. Are you so at what point did Italy go from playing? I was going to say jouer, but that's obviously not Italian. Whatever it is, I don't know the correct terminology. Player. Forza.
Passa la ball.
Passa la ball. When do they go from having an absolute riot but not winning down to please just give me a 9-6 because we need a win? Because you were talking about coming from out to in.
Yeah, but I think they've done it the other way, and they didn't have any success.
Okay.
So
keep going.
Yeah, I think keep going. Nick those wins. I think where they've got to get better is understanding certain scenarios of when it is on and when it's not on. At the moment, they're just going, it's on. Yeah, but then that just comes down to time together, and then as long as they're taking the lessons of right, that doesn't really work there, so let's not do it. Then hopefully they'll develop their game in that way. But I like the fact that they're going to back themselves to the hilts, and I prefer this way of doing it rather than them trying to grind someone down for 60 minutes and losing it in the last 20.
They've had a number of years of trying.
They had a lot of years. But it's down to their personnel. They had the personnel to do it. They had a good forward pack.
Yeah.
And they had
a good back row.
Yeah, hell of a back row. Good 9 and 10. And they didn't have much else. Whereas now they've got some quality players throughout their back line. Obviously, we talk about Capuzzo. We talk about,
BC at 10.
And the centre that's really come alive this year. Yeah. So they've got better players. Padovani. They've got better players to actually trust to get that ball out, and then they've got movement players in this. Canone. Is it Canone?
Yep.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Canone, who can carry. If Pelledri comes back in, you've got another great. The second row, Russo, who's leading the Six Nations. In terms of if you play fantasy, he's winning on all the points on that. So you've got Fischetti, who Genji hates because I always pick him ahead of him. Sorry, Genji, love you, mate. So he was there on Saturday. He was in good form. I did a Q&A.
Good.
So you've got players now where I wouldn't have been able to tell you half that many many Italian players off the back, and now you start. There's quality throughout. And it's just, you hope that you see the strength coming through the 20s still. They're still, they're taking people on at that level. Not this year. They lost on the weekend, but lost last weekend. But they've got a good.
Their 20s has come on massively.
And then that's what you hope is if they stick to
the
the way that they're trying to play, they're going to get better players who come through that system and hopefully then just push them on.
What about Wales? Do you go back to the old boys? Do you stick with Owen Williams? Do you bring in Nick Tompkins? Or are you just throwing a whole lot up and hoping?
I'm very interested to hear what they've done this week in camp as to whether Gats sort of, encouraged them maybe to have a night out, bit of a team social, bit of a regroup.
It's definitely going to be an interesting episode on Netflix this week.
Yes.
Bin all the drama, reset, get back to what they're doing, focus on rugby, understand the importance of getting back to winning ways, trying to motivate them. I'd go with big. I mean, obviously Cuthbert out, it's a loss as well. But
you'd go back to bigger.
I rate Dan Bigger.
Yeah,
no, I'm not.
I think you need someone like Bigger. You need to put the pressure on him to stand up. He normally does when you ask him that. Look, I think England could have quite easily and should have scored 3 other tries. So it could have, if England had put those away, and you're looking at another 30, 35 point beating,
left 10 points off the team
with only an intercept try for your own.
It could have been very, very ugly.
It could have been again, and then where would you be at then? So, no, it's a dark place at the moment. Both on and off the
Middlesbrough
field.
Town Centre.
Yeah, on and off the field. So it's going to be difficult for them. They have to go. They will be saying we'll take 9-6.
Right.
All day long.
Because they need to as well, because again, to cement their ideas, they've had so much turmoil. I mean, also the naivety of like kicking to Freddie Student the whole time.
Yeah.
You could have just
He
changed
might work on Capuzzo this year.
Yeah. I think he might be injured, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
I think so.
Oh, sorry.
Couple words.
Cappuccino.
What is Gats like when the pressure comes on? I like the fact you said, I hope they had a night out.
I think that's what look, I imagine they have to be quite tricky to do that in Cardiff, because obviously the dog, the written media will be out ready to catch them.
Wales Online.
Yeah, Wales Online.
Treats the boys have the worst performance ever.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Do you want to do a couple?
No,
Wales boys on piss.
I know you do want to do a couple.
You do.
You can't help yourself.
I can. And I think Gats
Drink problem emerges from Wales squad.
That's what I mean. Striking one day, on the piss the next. Source is close to camp, so I think look, I don't think Gats is very. I haven't been in teams where he has been on the back foot particularly. I think the Lions were actually 2017. There were some elements of that when obviously the midweek team hadn't won because they using the test team. Test team had lost the first game, and then luckily we beat the Chiefs, and that kind of changed the dynamic.
He had a hell of a week that week, because that was the week. Just reflecting that the New Zealand Herald painted him as a clown.
Yes.
And he took a huge amount of, I was going to say friendly fire, but it wasn't that friendly, actually.
Yes, I think it really affected him when we
really
talked to him.
did. I can remember being in a conversation in which he was saying that.
And I think he, look, I will be interested. I think at the moment, if they had gone and there hadn't been the kind of discussion of inappropriate conduct in the WRU, there hadn't been the strike, this was all about rugby, this was a pure case of Wales hadn't played very well, I think it would be harder. I think it's very easy to go listen. The whole narrative around this is a bit of a shambles. We've got all this striking going on. We've got everyone's fighting. Guys, let's have a reset. Let's focus on just trying to play a rugby that we're proud of. Let's iron out some of these rough edges, like you said, kicking to the wrong places. Let's go out there and play and enjoy ourselves against a good Italy side, knowing that we have to take them very seriously. I think that's what will be good. I think he'll be demanding a lot of them. I think also Gats can go one way. He can also try to train them, because he believes in that kind of mentality of training them quite hard.
They're tough.
Well, he does. It's weird because he's either got the balance of giving you a 45-minute to 40-minute session and going, that's it. That's all you're going to do. Fresh, start the game and play. Or he's done. He was the guy that did the 100 scrums, where Simon Shaw 2 minutes into it went, my back's gone, James. You had to swap in, so I did 100 scrums the second row. And Joe Wes went,
6'9".
Joe Wes went, I've got arthritis in my toe. I can't take part in it
so
either.
you played second row and back row?
Yeah. I was scrummed to death that day.
Right.
That's what did my body.
But you'd want them to just, I don't think Gats is this guy who might do this, but you just also want to say, right, lads, you've got to go and enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Can you think of an example when you were having an absolute shocker and someone chucked you in a room with Because I remember hearing stories about Sale.
Yeah.
I was going to say 100 cans of beer. I think John Mitchell did
John
it at
Mitchell.
Sale.
John Mitchell was brilliant at that.
And just said, this has to be drunk. And no one leaves until it is.
And then the next day, he'll be out. He'll be the first one out there doing fitness, but you're all doing it, and the boys will be battling. But
right.
See, that's one of the stupid. That's one thing I don't understand about it. I think the first part's great. Second part, give them at least 24 hours to recover and then get them back in. That mentality of, right, we're going to run you dehydrated.
Three hamstrings.
Yeah. 200, run 30, 200 meters, and then everyone's sick and been crying, and then the next day you're ruined.
But I mean, I remember when Andy Robinson was coaching Bath, and we lost 12 on the bounce or something, and we just couldn't buy a win and everything else, and then he just went, right, lads. Eventually said, well, fuck, we just got to enjoy ourselves. And we won the next 13 on the bounce, got to the playoffs, and went that way. I think we didn't quite win the playoffs, but we just went on an unbeaten run of like 13, 14 games or something.
Powered by booze.
Yeah, and it was just like, just go play and don't worry about what's coming. And it can work if you can get it right. It can obviously go terribly wrong as well if you overplay your hand, but.
I did hear someone saying, I think it was when we were down in Cardiff before the game, that Gatland he's picked up what he's picked up in terms of a situation with Wales, and his focus will be get out of the pool in the World Cup, make the quarterfinals, and then anything can happen. And he's trying to look at his resources now. But then you think, cool, Wales will probably do that. But then you think, shit, they've got Australia, they've got Georgia, who they lost to in November, and Fiji.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're thinking, holy Moses, Scotland, Ireland. There's some good games this weekend. I am genuinely looking forward to it. We're going to Twickenham. We'll have a nice.
We are going to Twickenham live room again.
Yes.
I saw the mother-in-law on the weekend. She's very much looking forward to it.
Is she going up, I presume?
Yeah.
Is she confident?
How
confident
more confident than
be?
she's ever. I would say she's probably more.
But Scotland always blow it when they're confident.
I know, but you take.
Because you're calling a hit. Hello?
MI6? You take the sort of first 20 minutes out of that French game where, they just
got battered.
Intercept, just got battered with some spectacular tries as well. Then, they were at the races. They've just got to get a faster 20 minutes. If they can get a big 20 minutes against Ireland, my worry is Ireland just look like a well-oiled, well-run machine at the moment, and it is like a machine. They can beat you if you give penalties away. They'll get in your 22 and they'll take points. They always do. They always come away. They're clinical in that area, and then they come up with little trick plays where they've spotted, and they always seem to come off.
And they are starting fast as well. They get points on the board early, much like the team that you were part of. 20 years ago.
Was it us? We were doing that show when when Conor Murray came off the bench, and they were like, someone tweeted, all jokes aside, it's about time we gave Conor Murray a chance. And it's like he's had 100 caps. Just fans know nothing. I just thought it was quite funny.
Yeah,
quite enjoyed it.
That was funny.
Was that us? Our show? I just thought it was amazing. Just come on, stop messing around now. It's time to give Conor Murray a proper shot.
That was when we did the show with Tommy Bowe.
Yes, that was it. Yeah. I just loved that.
Tommy Bowe was like, I couldn't believe it. They said it's about time someone gives Conor Murray a chance. He's like, he's got 100 caps. Like, he's had a chance.
Well, I just love Ireland. I just think they're, I think from the top down they look sexy. Yeah, I think Andy Farrell is just a shining light of pure masculine, sexy, beautiful man, masculinity. And just down to the way they're playing on the field. I think just as, like you said, a well-oiled machine, like a perfectly poured pint of Guinness. We're not sponsored by them, but Guinness is quite nice.
They've also got so many options
that
now.
Spot is available.
Yeah, it is spot.
It's Guinness.
But they've got so many options now. We talk about an England team and whether you swap Farrell out for Smith, and basically you're going from second gear to fifth in terms of the game you're going to try and play, or diff lock. You're going to change four-wheel drive to two-wheel drive. With Ireland, you take out players, but the show goes on. Very seamless.
The only issue area is the 10 axis, just because.
Well, I thought we were about to find out about the 9, and in all fairness to Conor Murray, he's lifted his game. I think he's seen what he's
Craig
worked
Casey,
on, what
Jamison Gibson
Park's done. Because I thought Gibson Park was key to their sort of new way of playing because of how fast he just got rid of the ball. Like Conor Murray used to slow down the ball a fair bit, and under the Joe Smith era was the perfect guy of just organising, putting those pressure kicks in that they can compete after. But now that they're lifting it, he's changed his game as well. And I think you've always got that Sexton question, but and the problem is I think everyone knows how important it is. So when are you going to start giving the next guys the time to run the ship, just in case you need to?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But we talk so much about England trying to find a midfield that works. What is Ireland's number one midfield?
Sexton, Henshaw,
And Ringrose.
Oh, Ringrose, sorry.
So then you've still got people like McCloskey and Aki who can come in.
Yeah.
Aki's a lion.
I know.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
It's mad.
Can they maintain it?
It's the ultimate question. History would say no, but I think they're in a different place right now, to be honest.
I think everyone loves that as well. You know, rugby just sticks to all the similar sort of narratives.
Yeah.
England's more.
Well, France don't travel.
Don't travel well. Ireland always blow it. I think.
But until it's the
you've
thing.
proven them
Until
wrong.
you change it, I remember having that at Gloucester for years and years because we finished top for 2 years and finished in the top 4 in the third year. Always finishing top, never win a final, and every time
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah, and
Always
always
the foreplay, none of the fun.
came up. And until you change it, you can't. You're always going to be tagged with. You're always going to be tarnished with that brush, or varnished.
Varnished.
I am genuinely really looking forward to this weekend. I do love the Six Nations.
You just love rugby.
It's the
I think.
well, not always.
Piglet.
It just is the gift that keeps
You
on
just
giving.
love Bath at the moment, yeah.
No.
It's just great time.
How Bath doing, by the way?
Rubbish.
Are they?
Yeah.
Our Six Nations Predictor game is back. Mystic Mike's predictions in partnership with our friends at City Index, one of the leading providers of spread betting and CFD trading on over 13,000 financial markets. Michael, this is your moment. We don't and cannot afford a drum roll or any dry ice.
Well, that's because you haven't got your sound machine yet.
Who gets your backing and why? Let's do Italy Wales first.
So, with my Mystic Mike hat on, typically when I've underplayed them and I thought they're going to be big wins and then going, come on, don't be silly. They have been big wins. So then I went punchy the other weekend and it went the other way. I've got Ireland by 10.
Wow.
Italy by 8.
I like.
And France by 6.
Wow.
But I picked that because I also have France to win the tournament. Yeah.
So you're doubling down?
Yeah.
That's not a good bet, though. You're chasing lost money.
I know. But
I think England by 6.
Haunted Hask's prediction. By all things I did in my past, waking me up at 4 in the morning every day.
How's that therapy working?
Hope we don't find the body. I'm going to go.
It's really awkward, like truthful laugh.
Yeah.
They're at Tom Palmer's house. Just
Yeah.
get you in trouble.
No
again,
space
get
under his
another phone
patio.
call.
And I can't mention that he got very upset last time. Do you know what it is? I never get any heat from anybody on this podcast apart from old players, which is quite funny actually. They all come out of the woodwork, get very upset. You fucking talking shit. Calm down. I'm going to say Wales by 7. France by 10.
Wow.
And Ireland by 10.
3 big away wins.
Yeah. I know nothing about rugby. No, I do actually. You know what? I have consistently watched a lot of it, and I really do care. Just want to change that mindset. But that's what I feel. That's what I feel. You know, like today, if you I try to channel when I do the lottery. I try to feel what's in the air. And
Love.
a lot of time it is love with Bodie and Chloe. But I sort of feel that's what I'm getting. Getting the word away wins.
Away wins.
Yeah.
Italy by 7. England by 6. Scotland by 1. No, I think it will be Ireland by 10.
Fine.
But it would be fun if Scotland won.
That would be good.
That's us. That's us to be shot at. That's us to be overtaken. Come and join us.
People very funnily shoot me down on these predicted things.
They get very upset about it.
Especially
If you tip against
team
your
of the
team.
wink. Might be
Team of the Wink.
Team of the Wink.
Team of the Wink.
I'm still confused.
Team of the Week.
They listen to the best bit is they listen to the bit they want to listen to. They don't listen to the other bit about us saying that we don't that bothered about it.
Yeah.
And they just only focus. And then I get people come up to me and go, "Oh, I listen to the show," and I go, "I know you don't like noises." And then they come and gnaws me. I'm like, "But you've let one bit you wanted to hear in, you've let the other bit go in."
My favourites are the reviews that say, I've listened to every one of this and normally I love it, but this week I absolutely hate it and therefore it's 1 star. I'm like, okay. Thanks for all the love and support over
It's
the
like
years.
ordering an Amazon package and it comes and the package is damaged, so you give the product 1 star. No, it's the package. It's not the.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Madness, isn't it?
Michael, would you like to give a quick shout out to the top performer from round 3?
Well, Alex, I would love to do that. Yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to top performer from round 3 called Sifiso Blessing from South Africa, who predicted all 3 lines correctly.
I can't believe it. I got the scores completely right.
That is incredible.
Hello, my brew. Come to superbrew.com.
Remember, if you haven't signed up yet, you still can, and you'll also be in the chance to win a shout out on the pod. So head over to superbrew.com/GBR to get involved. But whilst we're here, we'll give a quick shout out on how you guys are doing and how we're all doing. James moved down to you're now 1,483.
Classic me, always going down.
2,584.
Ding, 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 ding. Hello, Chloe.
Yeah. He picked all the winners, but too conservative.
Not on me, James.
You picked all the winners, but too conservative on margins.
Oh, no. That's the first time anyone's ever described as conservative, unless I'm voting.
Mike moved down to 1,846.
That is piss poor.
Picked France, but got the other 2 wrong. I assume that we're supposed to say. Payno moved up because there was no down for you.
No.
From
I've had a good
from
couple of
bottom.
weeks actually.
The only way is up, down.
So he's moved up to
Payno,
2,075th.
You and me now.
Picked all 3, almost spot on with the England
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
I was almost spot on with the England game also. I said by 12 and it was 10, was it?
No.
No.
Yeah, it was 10. I went 7.
Oh, so I went 12 and it was 10.
Yeah.
So how are you spot on? Why don't I get a fucking spot on?
Oh.
Domino's Doughballer of the week. That was one of our finest sections.
It
I think,
was.
wasn't it? Yeah. That's like woven together with
Smooth.
barbed wire.
Yeah.
Domino's Doughballer of the week. Our favourite pizza makers, Domino, and their Doughballer of the week, where we take a look at the standout performers from the weekend's action, pick us a player, and we'll send them a pepperoni pizza.
Oh, I know exactly who it is.
Who?
I actually, I Instagram storied about 3 of them, and I was very excited.
There are a lot
about
of shout outs.
I'd say
2
Danny-
very good games.
Danny Kerr was someone about
What an offload.
what an offload, what a player, what a man.
Still going. Got another 7-year
Yeah,
contract.
Yeah, he's incredible. I thought Marcus Smith, what a way to show a coach. Don't leave me out. I thought pint sop. Sorry, don't leave me out. Pint shot, pint sick. 8 slices. What a legend. No, he was brilliant. I thought, but the man for me was Charles Piatow. Oh my God!
Were you at Wasps with him?
Yes, I was.
Discuss.
Wasn't that good?
Well, no, he was. He was doing it. He was unbelievable. I mean, he was just. He's just next level. I can't understand how he doesn't or didn't get into the All Blacks. I know he's changed allegiances to Tonga now, which is fine. I'm all about that life. But he's just such a good player. He just does stuff that I just couldn't imagine.
Hit and spin. Ridiculously dirty step that beats 2.
And gas.
Then gas. Then goose. Then left-footed grubber. And he should
do that really quickly.
have just turned around.
Step, gas, goot spin.
He should have just turned around and walked off the pitch.
But also, there isn't a hair out of place.
It's immaculate. His hairline is something I dream of
Yeah.
having.
Well, in November,
we'll pay
you.
your
It's
dreams will come
cost
true.
you a bit.
Absolutely will do. I'm going to have it beaded like Monica from Friends, swishing it around with seashells in it, whipping people's faces.
Yeah.
Hash, your hair's in my tea again.
I mean, there is a shout out for sort of Harry Randall was outstanding as well. Joe Carpenter in the Sale game. Tom Line.
I'd give a shout out to Tom Liner, who is Michael's son. We did a show in a former life with Lewis, obviously still battling away at Quins. But Tom has gone to Australia, is running the show. I think he's 20 odd at Queensland Reds. Watch this space.
Really?
And when Eddie Jones talks about picking youngsters, I think Tom Liner is a name that we're going to hear a lot more
It's
of.
good to have that genetics, isn't it? I think
Unbelievable. It's so fair.
my genetics, Bodie would be a
Bricklayer.
binman or a wrestler. That's about it.
I was also going to chuck in Alfie Barber as well.
Yeah,
I know we're talking about ballers who do incredible things, but actually, I think he could do with the pizza.
Yeah.
He's done his knee.
Are we doing a vote on?
Yeah, go on
who we
then.
do for Doughballer? Well, I am going for Charles Peter.
Charles Pitt.
Yeah, Charles Pitt.
Okay, luckily for us and for you, Domino's are offering the price slice deal at the moment. 8 for a small, 10 for a medium, and £12 for a large one. So do have a nibble on that if you fancy it. It says here again, Haskell
You see his face?
Yeah. Resist. I love this is where I want the taser. Yeah. Says here Haskell Tor
I'll take you in the taser home, though. That'd be the problem.
Haskell, do you want to plug your tour again?
Yeah, guys, I'm going on tour.
Ticket sales are obviously struggling a bit. This is the third time in the non-show that we're plugging it.
Sex videotape starts on Wednesday, 8th of March. We're in Nottingham, going everywhere, Southend, Plymouth, Wales, Richmond Theatre in London. Some tickets still available. Hit them up on jameshaskell.com or through Instagram, or just Google Sex Tries videotapes. Make sure you don't just Google sex or do them individually, because you'll get very confused. But still as entertaining as I will be.
I did see that on our Good, Bad and Rugby Instagram channels, tickets have been on sale for 4 days, and there was a post that says buy your tickets here, and lots of people saying great, come to Sheffield, come to, and one of the bottom saying I've got 4 I can't get rid of, I'll take a knockdown price. I'm like, fucking hell, mate. I mean, hang on to them for a week
it's
at least.
It's only just started.
I know. Anyway, so there are 4 going cheap if you head to our socials, but if you want to come and join us on Good, Bad and Rugby's tour in November, check out the link somewhere around here. Very quickly, I'll tell you what we've been trying to do for weeks on end. It's a little bit like trying to reignite a fire that went out a month ago. We've got a new section on the show called An Absolute Shirt Show, which is behind me, a mannequin, where we're going to put the shirts of the people and the clubs and the stories around the country that need a little bit of love and attention. So the first shirt that we're going to draw attention to is all about Breakthrough Rugby. It's a voluntary charity that has been set up. They go into local prisons, they coach the inmates, they get them back on their feet, literally, and playing the game of rugby, which hopefully does great things for them. And then when they come out of prison, they are teamed up with a civilian team, and they continue to play their rugby. Apparently it's got really good results. They are putting a lot of purpose into the lives of people who are perhaps searching for a little something. So well done to Breakthrough Rugby and all the crew at Horace Rugby for what is a very good and a very powerful story. Long may that continue. Did you go to Argentina on that tour where you went into one of the Argentinian prisons? No. You were on the Lions tour. It was 2017.
I was talking to my lawyer.
I
don't know how to answer that question, Alex. I never talked about a tour that I never went on. I definitely didn't end up in an Argentinian prison.
I haven't phrased that very well. Yeah. I think the England players went in.
Someone told me to carry that thing through customs. I absolutely was not buying. That rocking horse may have contained cocaine, but it was nothing to do with me.
Please speak to my lawyers. There was, I think, a trip.
I didn't force her.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my God.
It's from the League of Gentlemen. It's allowed. It's a movie quote. Stop fucking panicking.
Well, contextualise it, and then we don't need to.
I have.
We panic.
Always after.
Calm down, Lynn. Calm down. You've broken your neck.
Always after. The Mail Online, Welsh Mail Online doesn't get there.
This isn't work.
Haskell.
Haskell forces woman. Haskell buys cocaine in a rocking horse.
Ling, ling, ling. Lovely to have you with us, Chloe. What I was going to say
just on that, by the way, Andrea...
Into your mic.
It was only there.
Your navel.
Andrea has started her podcast for Hello, Andrea.
Hello, Andrea.
Hello, Andrea. She kindly invited me on because she always speaks so fondly of Andrea. Would you like to go on? I was like, I'll go on with the 2 guys, but...
Do you want to hear a spurious thing? I got emailed today asking, would I like to take part in a documentary about Queen Camilla to come on and talk about Prince Harry as a good friend, to give an honest, insightful opinion? And I was like, no, thank you, though. I know nothing about any of that.
Don't come to me.
Don't come to me.
You really know he knows nothing when he's saying no to a TV gig.
That's what I mean.
You gave him Mike's number. And said
I did, yeah. I said Mike, very keen to talk about the family as long as there's paid. I'll just put it down as a source close to the royal family.
It's done well out over the years.
Yeah. The mole.
Right, we've done the mannequin shirt, and now it says closer. Is there anything else we need to discuss? It's been a hell of a ramble this week.
It's been a good. It's been a really
Oh God,
a really fast 45 minutes at an hour and 15.
Yeah, right. I just think the problem is when there's no rugby and we haven't got a theme other than talking about rugby that hasn't happened yet. It's
we
very
spin
difficult.
off. We've just wasted half the tour material.
Yeah, we have. Don't forget to subscribe to the Lock-In if you haven't already. Tinds' tantrum with a trampoline. I love alliteration. An extra pod that we put out most weeks for the super fans, all 25 of you. So thanks very much for your support. This week we talk about all sorts of bits and bobs. Go check it out on your Apple podcast streams. It's there if you want it. Merch on the website for the super fans. We would love to get rid of a bit more of that. So if you fancy a hoodie, it's still chilly in March, go and buy yourself a good bad rugby
T-shirts
hoodie.
and hats available as well, Alex.
T-shirts, hats,
and
mini
keyrings,
balls.
And actually the hats, I really do like the hats.
Yeah, we could actually get the hats.
Hats are good, yeah.
Good luck to everyone playing this weekend, whether you're in your grassroots or in your Six Nations setups. I hope it's a belting weekend for one and for all. The Good, the Bad and the Rugby is produced by Shara Kilgallen and Ollie Hunter, and it's a folding pocket production. Look after yourselves. Until next time. A special show out on Sunday.
And they were all jokes, Chloe, again, because we know you listen to the end.
Ling, ling, ling.
Love you.
Thanks, Chloe.